Hello, friends and enemies. It's me, V, and it's what that time again. It is Wednesday. How do you like my yes style wig? I like the purple one more. At first, I thought the pink one, the orange one would work because I have one that's like super long, and I adored it. But in this lighting, seeing it right now in this lighting, I'm like, the purple was better. I don't like that. It sucks, man. It really sucks. But that's not the reason why I'm talking. The reason I'm talking about has to do with two things that have been happening. Minimum wage going up to $15, which, hallelujah. And number two, the shit that is going on with MTV. So, all I want to say is I want to preface this as always saying, the thoughts and opinions are my own. They are not the thoughts and opinions of my past jobs, my current jobs, and any future jobs. That means do not look at Target, Spectrum Sports, Universal, Sony Pictures, PBS, whoever, Wisconsin, whatever. Do not look at them and be like, hey, she said this opinion. Because, again, these are my thoughts and my thoughts alone. These are my opinion and my opinion alone. I made a little post-it because we need to talk about MTV. I'm going to link it down below. Now, I'm linking down the tweet that started it off. Someone was looking at MTV's schedule and noticed that ridiculousness was on. Like a lot. And that started people going like, what the hell is going on with MTV? And I will admit, as a kid growing up in the 90s, I watched MTV. And then I went to college, watched MTV a lot during college, came back, went to Australia, which is going to be how I segue into money, the minimum wage discussion. And then coming back from Australia, staying at my mom's, watching MTV. That's a fact I remember because I watched 16 and Pregnant and was like, oh, this is interesting. In fact, it was Caitlin and Tyler's, it was their episode that I watched. And I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. And then they had Macy and then they had Amber. And I thought Amber was shit. But then it turns out that really Gary was shit. Although I will have to admit, Gary was 20 years old and Amber was 14 when they started dating. That's really fucked up. Anyway, since then, programming has changed at MTV. And a lot of people have said, what about it? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I got bored. And I thought, hey, here's something. You have a lot of shit from 1980s to now that you could use instead of using ridiculousness. There's no reason I should see Rob D's ass every damn day, except for the few times you put in either Jersey Shore or that other T-Mom OG or T-Mom 2. Come on, people. Do something. So this is my suggestion to them. Will they take it? Hell the fuck no. But a bitch can try, okay? Number one. Or actually I have it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yay! Sunday. Ridiculousness. Do every fucking season, have everything mapped out that day. Ridiculousness only plays on that day. Unless, and you'll see why I say unless. Monday. This is MTV's animation time. What does that mean? You put in all your animation that you have. And I'm not just talking Daria, I broke this, bears. What the fuck? Okay, I put down some stuff. Celebrity Death Match, Daria, but I also mean like undergrads, Clone High, things that a lot of people didn't get a chance to see that first time. Put that in on Monday. Any of your animation that you've created, Beavis and Butthead. Oh, it's Beavis and Butthead. That's what I wrote. Beavis and Butthead. You put that in. And all you have to do when it comes to programming, because I do work with programming, I've observed what programming has done, is they go and they look at the schedule and they say, okay, this is what we're going to play, blah, blah, blah. Now, considering copyright, because I know you have to have permission in order to air certain programs. If they already have permission to air these programs, they should be good to go. However, some of these programs I realize could be made with other groups, but I believe that they are by Viacom, so they should be good since Viacom owns a lot. Maybe that's just me. But Tuesday, make it Tuesday TRL. What does that mean? That means you bring back all the old ass TRL videos that you have and you put that shit in the block. You put that shit in the block and there you have it. You have at least you have more than a couple months. Come on now. You know how old TLR is. Just put that in there, throw up a graphic that says, this is when this aired at this, this aired at this time, blah, blah, blah. People will eat that shit up. Nostalgia is selling, especially not 90s nostalgia. I lived the 90s as a kid. Even I'm like, damn, I wish I could go back and live it as a 30-year-old. Because 30-year-olds, I think it would have been a little bit more easier for me as a 30-year-old versus a toddler. Wednesday. You know how I talked about your scripted shows on Monday? Or rather, your animation on Monday? Have your old scripted shows on Wednesday. That means all of them. Even the shit that ran for maybe one season. Put that in and then be like, this aired at this time, blah, blah, blah. Again, have a graphic up that shows people like, oh, this was from 1989. This was from 1991. So people can comment and talk about it and all that shit. It also brings more eyes to things that people may not have known. Thursday. I said Thursday throwback. This is where you take all of your old reality shows. You put them in there. I'm not talking just 16 and Pregnant. I'm not talking just, the real world. But Are You the One? You know how hard it is to read shit on a Post-it note? Damn, old shows, throwback. Hold on. No, I do apologize. No. Essentially, I think I stopped on Thursday. I couldn't remember anything that I wrote. Because I know Wednesday was old scripted shows. I tried to look up some of the shows because I remember there being actual scripted shows on there. And all the shows that I remember, because I was like, Life with Liz or My Life is Liz. I remember watching that. Apparently, that was a reality show. I thought it was a scripted, quote-unquote, reality show because, they really broke the fourth wall on some things. And I was like, oh, that's not a reality show. That's a scripted show. Apparently, it's not. Shoot. Undressed. Undressed! You could bring back Undressed! You could bring back Teen Wolf. You could bring back Teen Wolf. What the hell? And then Thursday, Throwback Thursday, I said for reality shows, True Life. That's what I was trying to look up. I think I was trying to look up True Life besides Teen Mom. And I'm looking at it right now, like all of the old shit. They have so much old shit that they could put out there. Let's see. Well, okay, there's a lot of stuff you can't put out there. I wanted to say My Sweet 16, but that's really toxic. Or Punked. Or Jackass. Someone mentioned Jackass because they were like, would love to see a Jackass. Just old things. And maybe have the old crew come in and be like, now that we're really old, what do we think of this? What do we regret? That sort of thing. Get the ball running on that. Favorite things that they miss with people that are no longer here. So people can reminisce and at the same time be like, oh, this is this person, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Then I had Fridays. Fridays is 80s and 90s. And then Saturday is 2000 to 2020. I know 2020 wasn't really that great, but what I mean by that is that's where you take whatever you had during a block on one particular day and you just stick it in there. For example, November 3rd, my birthday. No, let's not say 2000. November 3rd, whatever was happening, 1990. You find what you had during that time, you take that, you stick it in there. The only things that you change are the advertisers and the commercials, so then that way they get paid. Every so often you have someone in a commercial saying, hey, you're watching MTV, and this is, right now we're celebrating November 3rd, 1990. Woo! Then show all the shit that you guys had planned during that time. And then have a graphic every so often. It could be on the hour, every 30 minutes. So then the audience goes, what happened? Oh, that's what happened. I remember this show, blah, blah, blah. Now, I say this knowing that sometimes there are going to be reruns that may be in the animation, that may be, either in animation or old scripted shows, your reality shows. I realize that at the same time, it's something different. It gets the audience going, ooh, I want to see more of it. I know, it's so easy to do ridiculousness and pop that in, but come on. If you want to save your channel, you can do it. Yeah, I'm giving it to you for free. Which I shouldn't be, because, I'm not getting any money for it. But there we are. And as I think about MTV and how people are getting paid and everything, great segue, by the way, great segue by me. But on a serious note, besides the whole talk about MTV, someone mentioned getting a minimum wage being $15. I am for it. I am against people who think that $15 is too much. No, it's not. I would say it's little. It's little. And I say that's even little because when you compare it to states and cities and everything where people live, the cost of living has gone through the roof. I look at things that when I was a child, I was like, ooh, that's expensive. I remember when gas was 90 cents. And my mom complained about it. She's like, it's 90 cents. Oh my gosh, it's so high and blah, blah, blah. And now if I saw it for 90 cents, I'd be like, this is a steal. And I'd be trying to, $1. I'd be like, yeah. And I know with my sister, when she lived in LA and she came to visit, she was like, oh my gosh, it's $2.40. This is a steal. Especially because her gas in LA was like $5. $5 plus more, which made me go, this is fucking nuts. It's crazy. When I went to Australia, I got there and I was like, well, what's going on in Australia? Talked to my classmates and all of them were like, we get paid $17. I don't know how we got onto the subject of jobs, but I mentioned my job. And I'm like, I was thinking of maybe getting a job here, but I don't know. It may not pay, I don't know if I could do a job and go to school. And they're like, oh, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. And they mentioned, what they do with their waitresses and everything. I was like, oh, our waitresses, they have to, they get tips and everything and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, tips? We don't tip people. And I'm like, well, we tip people. And someone else who was American, I think it was a New Yorker, he was like, yeah, well, our waitresses get like $3 an hour and those tips are their money, their actual money. And the Australian classmates were like, everyone here gets paid $17. So they know they're going to get paid $17 regardless. And I'm like, wow, that's so different. And then I came back here. And as you all know, I was making $7 something. And then I went to Target and was making $10. And I was like, and originally I had made $7. But then when Walmart said, we're paying our people $9, someone asked Target if they're paying it, and somebody replied yes, but they hadn't spoken to the CEO. As a result of that, the CEO then said, okay, yeah, we're going to do the same. And then we raised it up to 10. And then I think Walmart raised it up to 10 as well. So we had that going on. I got $10.38, I think, before I left Target. I'd have to double check, but I think that's what I got. That was my salary. And then I got my Spectrum Sports job. I mentioned before my Spectrum Sports, my Spectrum Sports job was $17 and at least 25 cents. It was part-time. They said, you come in when, just tell us when you need to come in or whatever, and we'll put you in something, and did that. Now, I will admit that and I've mentioned this several times, I told my manager, you're paying me too much. And he was so shocked and disgusted by what I said that he made me walk outside and think about what I did. And and he's like, don't ever say that. Never say, you're not paying me. You're paying me too much. No, never. So that has been my mindset. And as I look at other people, I want them to be able to afford rent. My rent is $849. Yeah. And they take, wait, no, I take that back. It actually comes out to $720 because they take out $75 if I pay early and on time. They take out $75 for this apartment. I got student loans to pay, and the majority of those I consolidated twice. Yeah, I have a private loan that I consolidated because they said you have to pay $300, and it went up to $325. And I remember saying to them, I can't pay that. Can I go? Can I do a forbearance? And they said sure, but then it's like $350, $375 when you come back. And I said I can't do that. So I went through, found a company that would buy out the loan, so I wouldn't have to pay Great Lakes, and now I'm paying them like $200 a month, or at least trying to pay them $200 a month. Then we have my regular student loans, which are $286, and that's because I put myself back in. Because originally I was paying $179, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna put myself back in and just try to pay whatever I can. I checked and it was $289, and I was like, I don't remember saying I would put in that much money. And when I looked, things happened. I will say that with the I should say $48,000 at this point. The $48,000 in student loan debt that I have, $22,000 is with the consolidated student loan, and then $15,000 is consolidated student and federal student. It was student, not student, but it was the federal. It was a sub and unsub. I consolidated all that shit together. I don't fucking know why I did that. That was the most stupid ass thing I have ever done, because it's been consolidated, and because it's been consolidated, I can't get forgiven for that. So I have to pay that money. Do not do that. Don't do that, okay? And I know that has nothing to do with $15, but what I'm trying to say is, when you have student loans, and I say this as someone who worked at Target, when I was making $10.30 I had to, one, pay off anything that happened with my car, because my car was 98 and it ran, but there was always something that happened, and you're talking $2,000 or $3,000 that I had to go and pay to whoever to go get my car fixed. I then had to pay my credit card bills. And with my credit card bills, guess what? With my Capital One, Best Buy, all these different ones that I had at the time, I got so far and behind with payments that I got screwed. And it was hard to struggle because, again, $10.30, and they're cutting my hours. They're adding more people, and they're having more people, hiring more people, but they want us all to have open availability, but only schedule us maybe 15 hours a week or every 2 weeks if we're lucky. And I'm supposed to be able to live off that? No, I couldn't live off of that. And I don't think it's fair to tell somebody, no, you should make $10 an hour and be grateful. No, fuck that shit. If you are a company and you can afford to pay a CEO who is just the face. He or she is just the fucking face of the company. You are able to pay them $5 million. You're able to pay them $1 trillion. But you have the people who are actually doing the physical work, making sure that your ass looks good. You're paying them $15 an hour and you won't let them have a union. Or you'll get money during a pandemic, pay off your CEO, and then decide, you know what? We're going to have to let go of all of our employees, including the mascots and the people that are, dressed up as the characters. Sorry, characters, you got to go. No, that's fucking bullshit. Your priorities are not in order. Think about what Henry Ford did. I could go. I hope I'm not butchering it. From what I remember reading when I was a teenager, so I'm gonna look this up after I shoot this. Henry Ford, who made automobiles and all that shit, he paid his people enough money. Or guess what? They were buying the cars because they could afford it. They were putting money back into the company, and he had this thing of, hey, I need to pay my people money so that they are able to live, they're able to sustain themselves, and then put money back into the company because they know they are getting paid. Also, this is off topic. Unions are very important. If someone says to you, unions are shit, bullshit. Unions are there to protect the people. And I know everyone's like, who cares? Think about the 1800s. The triangle fire, or the triangle shirt factory fire. A bunch of women were like, hey, we want to be unionized. These work conditions are bad. You had the owners who locked the doors. So once people came in to work, the doors were locked behind them and they couldn't escape. And the reason for that was, well, we don't want to make it so somebody could leave and steal because they're making these shirts and they could take the fabric and later, sell it off and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what happened one day? Guess what happened? One day, people are cutting up shit. They're making these shirts. And they have these piles of shirts that they have used and cut and everything. Somehow a fire starts. And all those women, multiple women, died. They died because the work conditions were shit. The doors were locked. And they were like, hey, we need help. They can't get out because the doors are locked. So all these women are suffocating, they're burning. Some of them are jumping to their deaths. Some of them ended up falling to their deaths by accident, either by trying to get down the rickety-ass stairwell, which wasn't up to code, that was outside the windows, and it shifting and them falling to their deaths. All this shit happened. Or unions are also to make sure that, hey, the people don't get screwed, that everybody gets a fair wage. But people want to say, no, unions are bad. No. Unions protect people. One of my professors when I was in Australia, he was a cinematographer. He talked about how he was on set, and this director and him got into it because the director's like, I want you to have this shot, and I want you to have it, your camera here and you're here, camera here and you're here, and you're shooting this thing as this thing goes over. And he's like, no, because if something happens, either my camera is broken or I get killed. And him and the guy argued. He got his union involved. They compromised where the camera would be there, but the guy wouldn't. Well, guess what happened? They did the shot, and halfway through the shot, shit went wrong. And right where the guy would have been, my professor, the truck or the vehicle that was supposed to go over, it kind of went clunk, and it broke the camera, and had he been there, it would have killed him. Director didn't apologize. Didn't say, you're right, I'm wrong. But the guy at least had his union to back him up and be like, hey, no, you're trying to put our person in a dangerous situation. We're not fucking standing for it. If something is happening where someone is being an asshole, you can get your union to be like, hey, I am here for this person. So if you're going to talk shit, I am their witness in case we need to later take this to court. And yeah, that's my rant for the day. Unions are beautiful. Everyone should be paid $15 and more. I don't give a fuck. And again, if you are a business person and you cannot afford to pay your people, I hate to say it, maybe you should not be in a business then. Because obviously you don't know how to deal with money. And if you are a CEO of a company and your thought process is, I'm going to take all the money and I'm not going to give it to the workers, so therefore they can't put money back into the company by being, cult-like or being like, oh my gosh, this person's really great. You're a fucking moron. And finally, MTV, use my idea. And if you do use my idea, please at me or give me money. I have student loans to pay. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. And as always, fuck Tom Brady.